Hey everybody, we're here. I'm with Kevin
I'm here. Hello.
and Arin.
Hello,
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
no problem.
I'll let you kind of take it away with introducing yourself and your team a little bit. I know you said it's just you, which is a-okay with us.
Okay. So my name's Arin. I'm one half of Aura and Echo Paranormal. Liz wasn't able to be here; she's sick today. But pretty much, I mean, we both have always had like a deep interest in paranormal and kind of watched the shows when we were younger and things like that. And then we met about 11 years ago and became friends. And then last year around this time, we were just talking one day and we were like, how do people get to go out and do like what ghost adventures and like taps and all these people do? And so we started doing some research and then come to find out it's literally just a matter of like having a phone really to begin with and then talking to the people who own it or run whatever property. So we started with our phones. We would go park outside of like historic homes or like well known like haunted places in the area. And we would run like Ghost Tube, Vox, or whatever. And then we got like bitten by the bug, I guess you would say. And so we started buying the equipment. A video camera turned into an EVP recorder, turned into cat balls, turned into now this whole room in my house is our like headquarters. But now it's still just Liz and I. We're all female team. We don't have any camera people, security, nothing like that. It's just us, and we just go out and set up and see kind of what we get location to location, pretty much.
Very cool. It's very similar to how Kevin and I kind of started out too. And like you said, I like how you put that bit by the bug. So we're
Yeah,
growing our equipment as well.
yeah. And I think too, like equipment is a very controversial thing in the paranormal community. I'm noticing like there are certain people who say you need a SLS camera and an Ovilus and tripwires and teddy bears and dead bells and all these things. And like, I don't know if y'all have priced them, but like the SLS camera through like Ghost Stop is like around $500.
Yep.
So, you know, um, and honestly, we're not necessarily rolling like that. So we don't have one, but I don't, I'm on like the other end where like I don't think you have to have it. Like I think it's nice to have it, but we I think all of our equipment together was probably like 300-400 bucks. Like we don't have super fancy stuff, but I just don't think you need it really. Um I had somebody actually ask, we did a live on TikTok the other day, and somebody said, how much did you pay for your video camera that you use? 110 bucks on Amazon.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, that's the way to do it. You don't need really all that fancy stuff. Like you said, it's nice to have, but we've definitely looked at the SLS and the Ovilus, and I just really don't feel like shelling out that kind of money just for something that is cool, really, essentially.
right, right.
So I get that. Well, we both get that.
Yeah. And I mean, it can be an expensive hobby. And I mean, a lot of people too, like we personally didn't understand this until we started that you're paying to go into these places. Like, I
Mhm.
think TV shows can be kind of misleading on that end of like, it shows them going in and talking to the owners and investigate, but it doesn't show the part of like, until you get big and famous, if you ever do like that, you pay to go in. You're not getting paid to go in, which is
Yeah.
something interesting that we didn't learn until we started was you have to pay for it. They're not just like letting you. So that was something interesting too that I didn't know until we started doing it was you have to pay. Um and we don't, you know, obviously go on to locations that we're not allowed to be. Some people do. You know, I had this conversation with somebody the other day. Some people do, and that's their choice. But to me, the risk isn't really worth the investigating. You know.
Yep,
So,
100%.
Well, you're
um,
doing good. You're doing real good.
Kevin's usually the questioner. I'm usually
Yeah.
just the chime in whenever I have something to say.
yeah,
What are some
I
places?
understand.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
what are
sorry.
some places? No, you're good. You're good. What are some places that you guys have investigated so far?
Oh, so we've done Poly Jail, which is in Union Springs, Alabama. We did that was actually the first ever like full we have permission to go in, we can go in at night, full lockdown. It was pretty good, I will say. It's a smaller location, it's not very big, but it's like an older jail that we went and did. That was in April. And then in May we went to Georgia and we went to Pickens Jail. It's some people call it like Old Jasper Jail. That was in May. We went to in July the Gaines House in Gainesboro, Tennessee. That one is a former Civil War field hospital. Um, so we went and did that one. That was probably the most eventful that we've ever done. I would say was the Gaines House.
I
And
mean, with
then,
the military hospital, you're
huh?
probably with the military hospital. I would imagine you'd expect a lot of stuff to be going on throughout there.
Yeah, it was by far, I have to say, the most eventful we've ever had. And I mean, we get activity typically on all of our locations. Now, how much and what kind, it varies place to place. But we usually get activity, but the Gaines House was by far the wildest one we've ever done. We had cat balls going off. At one point, all four of them went off at the same time in different areas of the room. Um,
Oh,
there was some audible EVPs. There was one point we were standing in a room, and on the video, you hear it sounds like somebody going, like if you're trying to clean your glasses off and you breathe on them.
mhm.
And you hear me say, that was a breath. And then you listen to it on the EVP recorder and it's even louder. Um, so there was all types of activity there. That's my favorite one that we've ever done by far.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. Do you find yourself have like male or female spirits come and visit you guys more?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say it usually depends on the place, but a lot of times we get, I would say, a lot of female activity. And
Okay.
I don't know if that has to do with the fact that we're both female, or I assume it probably does, but we do get a lot of female activity. Male too, but I will say the only negative activity we've ever experienced was male. So, but we do get a lot of female. There was actually at the Gaines house a I'm taking it to be, which I'm not sure, but like a residual conversation between a man and a woman in the home. And it was actually, we had done an abandonment experiment. So we went in, we set up our video camera, digital camera, EVP recorder, cat balls, all the stuff, and we left for probably 20, 25 minutes. And during that time, you hear a man and he says, I killed your children. And then you hear the woman and she says, oh no. And it's like a very clear, it's actually on our YouTube. If you go to part 1 of the Gaines house, is actually in that video specifically. So
Yeah, We'll definitely check that out.
It's very, I will say a lot of what we get is very emotional. Like, people asking for help. We've heard women cry and like different things, but females, I will say we do. Now that I think about it, it's a lot of females. A lot.
Okay. You get any of the male? The last podcast guest we had, she was getting pinched by somebody. Do you have any male figures touch you women?
So the only time that I have ever personally been touched was, which that's one of my like foundational rules that I set. Like when we go in, I tell them very blatantly, like, feel free to show yourself to me, come out and talk to me. You can sit next to me, but don't touch me, and you can't follow me. And so the only time I've ever been touched, we were at Pickens Jail back in May, and we were doing the Estes method, and I was under the Estes method, so my eyes were closed, I had the headphones on, and the cell bars were like right directly behind me, and I had my hair up, and I felt somebody like it felt like they reached through the bars and were like just barely touching the back of my neck. But I've never had any violent physical touches or like inappropriate. I don't think Liz has either. Not that she's been with me. But that, like I said, that's like one of the first rules that we set when we go in there is like no touching. And now Liz will tell them, you can touch me to let me know you're here, but not in a aggressive or sexual way. So Liz has like she's had her arm touched. Somebody like touched the back of her like her ribs. Um, I think she had somebody like touch her cheek or like brush her cheek one time, but we've never had any like negative touches.
Oh, I got lots. I got lots and lots. I'm letting her go. um, we'll wait for that one. How do you define the word ghost, and how do you define the word spirit? Are they one and the same to you, or?
So I would say I don't really I believe there might be spirits that are more familiar to each person like personally. So like if we went to a location and I smelled like my grandmother's perfume. I really think spirits and ghosts are one and the same, really.
Okay.
Now, if it's a negative thing or, you know, like poltergeist activity, I talked to a lady not long ago. She's had some very negative activity. She wanted us to come in and cleanse her home, but honestly, I just told her we don't do that. We don't know enough about that, and I don't feel comfortable going into your house with negative activity that you're trying to cleanse, not really knowing what I'm doing. But so like
Good
those
call.
we'll refer to as like negative entities or like non-human spirits, but we really think about ghosts and spirits one and the same. What about y'all? What's your opinion about that?
Okay. It's a good question. Um, my follow-up question was that I'm going to answer it, of course. What do you think like shadow people are? Like black entities, or because there's definitely a difference between, like, to me a ghost is like a former human spirit, could be a loved one, could be the resident haunting at the location that's still trapped there, or you have intelligent hauntings, you have residual, like you talked about earlier, about you caught the conversation. um
Mhm.
I'm kind of like the same way. Spirits and ghosts are kind of one and the same, but you
Mhm.
also have like shadow figures. You also have some of the darker the darker entities that you really don't want to mess with. You already talked about that too, where you don't want to go in a location where it's evil and there's a
Right.
possibility it's going to attach to you and come home with you. And if you're not
Right.
properly protected, last thing you want to do is get up at 3 a.m. and go to the bathroom and something's there for you, you know.
Yeah. 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 Um, the so when you say like shadow figure, so physical manifestations to me, I would say it depends on like the situation, but I actually was looking at a location the other day and they keep talking about this little girl, supposedly this little girl, this little girl, this little girl. But to me, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like it could be a child, but also every time we connect with what seems to be a child, there's that thought in the back of my head of like, this could very easily not be a child and it could be something negative trying to make you kind of comfortable because
Mhm.
everybody likes kids. Everybody's comfortable with kids. So that's something I'm personally more cautious about. But we were kind of scrolling down and there was a picture of an apparition that was this little girl, but the way it looked to me, it was like malformed. So it was like the head, but the arms were like longer than the body. And
Okay.
I immediately told her, I was like, that is not, that to me is more what I would refer to as a shadow figure. I wouldn't call that the apparition of a little girl. And like,
Okay.
if you look at the photo, just the feeling you get from the photo, you kind of just know. Like, especially if you've done kind of like what we've done and you've gone into these places and you've dealt with the spirits, it's a different level of experience, I guess, that you kind of have that like thought in the back of your mind to kind of be extra cautious. So, I mean, physical manifestations, I think they're okay. I think they can be used as like a, hey, I'm letting you know that I'm here. But also they can be used to intimidate. Um, and honestly, that's like my undercover, like worst fear is like going into a place and I don't know there's something negative and it manifests. Um, which I'm aware, is a possibility, but we don't we haven't experienced a lot of um physical. I mean, we've had things like block out light or but you can't see like the shape of it, if that makes sense.
Mhm. No, I believe like some of the entities, ghosts, or even shadow people, there's like different degrees of level of energy they use to show themselves. Some come, some come quickly, some take time to emerge. Scientifically, I believe that you can feed them. As far as like, if you ever been on like a ghost hunt and they steal your batteries and your energy from everything dies real quickly. It's like
Right.
they're feeding themselves. Like, I'm not sure, you said one of your rules is not to touch you, but
Right.
sometimes they even feed off of like the human energy and they need to come around you. And like, I'm not talking about like a succubus taking your physical energy, but it's just, I just feel like when you go to a haunted location, we all, as paranormal investigators, we all go sit there, we got our toys, and we're waiting for something to happen. I kind of believe on a scientific level, if you feed them, it's like, one of those baseball things. If you build it, it'll come. So
Yeah.
I want to enhance it. And, your speech of, you're not allowed to touch me. You gotta have an open door communication with the other
Right.
side. And, haunted locations, I always firmly believe that when we go to a haunted location, certain people can see farther than when you and I can see. Tiffany's a medium and she can see a lot more than I can. I can feel it, but she can see it. Um, so when we go to an investigation, we hope to communicate with them, trust them, respect them. We know we're on their turf, and if we can, we try to give them energy, if we can, for them to come show themselves. And it has
Right.
worked in the past for us anyway. We're hoping that it continues in the future. But my question for you would be is, um, for your next ghost investigation, or do you supply anything? What I'm asking is like, do you, uh,
Energize them.
yeah, kind of like energize them? Some people
Right.
like ring a bell, like to,
So I would say yes. Like we definitely give them. So like when we go in, the first thing we do when we get there is we go in, we introduce ourselves, just like what we would do if we walked into a human being's home. Because
yeah, absolutely,
one thing we say
like
to
we did.
everybody is, like they were and still are humans and they still
Yep.
have feelings. And this is
Hmm.
their final resting place. This is somewhere we can come and then go home, but they're here.
Hmm.
And this is where, whether you believe they choose to stay here or they're stuck here, whichever end of the spectrum you're on, they're here. So we go in every location, we introduce ourselves, we let them know you can feel free to draw energy from us. And they do. There have been several times I will actually say every time we leave a location, if I drive home, she falls asleep, or if she drives home, I fall asleep. And it is such a different tired than I have ever
Hmm.
been tired before.
Yeah.
And, we tell them, don't hesitate. If you want to pull the energy from the equipment, we can recharge it, or we have backup batteries, whatever. Pull from us, pull from the equipment. Um, there's certain places we do have a bell. It's like a front desk bell. And
Hmm.
so when we went into like poly jail, we put the bell on the desk and we kind of ding the bell and then introduced ourselves, kind of like, hey, we're
Hmm.
letting y'all know we're walking in, we're here. We treat it very much like we would treat, your home if we went into your home. We're not just going to walk in and start asking you questions. You go
Hmm.
in, tell them who you are, and we tell them, we come in here not to piss you off, not to upset you. We don't want to trigger you. We don't use negative trigger objects. We don't do any type of like provocation in any way. It's very much if you want help, if you want to tell us what happened to you, or even if you just want to tell us about your life, period, we're just here for you, kind of like an open floor thing. So,
Are either one of you mediums?
so I'm not sure. I will say we have gone to several locations where we go in and like I can't speak for Liz, but just speaking for myself, like we went into one location specifically and there were mattresses on the floor. And on the mattresses, there was like, on so many of them, there was like a stain. And I was telling Liz, I was like, I feel like these beds have been on the floor. Like, I feel like this isn't just, oh, this is an empty, whatever. I feel like these beds have been here. And I feel like the people here were extremely mistreated. And so we start kind of asking questions. And I point out the stains, on the mattresses. And I was like, I feel like that's urine stains. Like, I feel like that's pee stains. I don't know why, but just I feel like that's pee stains. And so Liz asked the question. She was like, can you tell me what those stains are from? And within probably 6 to 7 seconds, it came through clear as day, urine. So there's been a lot of times I go into a location and I just know things. And it's like, I don't really know how to explain. It's like somebody told me before, but nobody told me before. I just know. And
Hmm.
like the feelings sometimes, like we went to one location, which I won't name drop them because I'm not trying to shame anybody, but we went to one location where they said they kept handicapped children in the attic. But to me, the second we walked in the location, that just didn't feel true. It just didn't feel, it felt like almost like, somebody's getting lied on. Like it just felt wrong. And so I asked about it, and come to find out that's not at all what that area was. It was just a clothing storage from what we gathered. So like I said, there's times I know things and I don't really know how, or I'll hear something that Liz doesn't hear, or I might see, like a figure out of the corner of my eye that Liz doesn't see, but I'm really not positive, but I would say probably. Probably.
All right, I gotcha. I was just curious. I mean, going back to kind of your question, Kevin answered his side. Kevin and I differ, I guess, a little tiny bit about spirits and ghosts. Um, I do interchange them all of the time. I think they're one and the same, kind of similar to you. Um, and as far as like evil and stuff like that, I know it's out there, but I feel like it's just, I mean, evil people are still evil people, whether they're here or not. So I'm not sure if I believe there's evil spirits as far as like non-human, but I mean, I'm open to anything. I'm sure there's definitely things out there that are not human that are, still trying to manifest themselves to us and stuff.
Right. And I think too, like one of the good things about the paranormal community itself is everybody can have different opinions, but a lot of the people I've encountered are open minded and they're at least willing to hear you out on like your perspectives or like why you feel a certain way about things. And like it's a lot less closed minded of a community, I feel like. So that is, I feel like, one good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. My other question I was going to ask you is, we do this thing where on our podcast we like to ask our guests, um, tell us a ghost story. It could be one of your favorite ones. It could be a scary one. It could be personal. It could be one that you heard one of your uncles told you when you were a kid or something. Um, but if you'd like to share a ghost story with us, we would love to hear it.
um, I will say, now we don't have any footage of this, but when we went to the Gaines house, um, this was probably the most like intense personal encounter I've ever had. Is we were sitting in the like main area of the house, and we had a backpack that had been on this like wooden chair, and it had been sitting there. We got there, I'd say around 6 o'clock. This happened probably around 11:30. So 5.5 hours, it sat there completely untouched. We pulled everything out of it when we got there. And as we're doing our investigation, um, one cat ball goes off in one corner, and then up on the mantle, another one goes off, another one goes off on the table. And then all of a sudden, Liz said, "Oh my God, the backpack's opening." And so I look over, and something was just ever so, like, it was slow but quick enough to notice. It was opening the back compartment of the backpack. And it was already unzipped, it was just pulling it open. And so I said, "Are you opening the backpack?" And right when I said that, purses came through, clear as day. So that was interesting, I will say, to see it like sit there for so many hours and not move. And then the back compartment, it starts like the whole backpack moving and the compartment starts to open. That was probably one of the more interesting ones I've ever seen. That, and then like I said earlier, the conversation between the man and the woman about her children, the way that they speak to each other, you can hear like the emotion in the conversation. It feels like almost as if like, I was speaking to my husband and y'all just overheard. Like it's that's one thing I will say. The biggest thing that shocks me too is like the level of emotion you feel for these people. Like I've gone into locations and cried before because I mean you just feel what they feel.
Yep.
Has there been any investigation where you or one of your teammates like left, not due to fear, but just overwhelmed with, like you mentioned about your energy and it zaps you of it? But has there been an incident where you guys are like, sitting in the dark and something happens where somebody loses their cool and they leave?
Um, I will say the only time we ever left was we went to a cemetery. This was during the day on like a weekday, just regular time. We went to a cemetery and we were going through the cemetery and we were kind of asking, and every cemetery we go to, I will go through and, or Liz will go through, we'll pick up like the flowers that have been knocked over. We'll try and put them back like they were. We try and pick it up a little bit. And so we were out there and I'm kind of picking things up. And then all of a sudden we got a name. So we asked, like, what direction do we need to go in? And so we start walking in one direction and then it'd come through and say stop. So we were like, okay, so we'd stop and then we'd be looking and we'd start asking a question again and it would send us to a different area. It bounced us all around the cemetery. And then the next thing we knew, it felt like something's hands. This is the only, I will say, negative touch I've ever had. It felt like fingers coming like up your ankles. And that honestly, I was like, okay, I'm done. We were still baby investigators too. Like we'd only been doing it a couple months. And that happened. And so we did both. We just left the location and didn't go back.
That's not
Oh, that's pretty cool.
wow. Yeah, I'd probably
Yeah.
scoot out too if something was crawling up my leg.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even now, I mean, I wouldn't say we're the most seasoned, but we've been doing this a little while and I've been around ghosts my entire life. I'd still book it if something was crawling up my ankle.
Right, right. Yeah. And it's especially like in a cemetery, and we'd only been doing this a couple months. And right before this happened, we had been getting responses like the word priest and evil and things like that. And I told Liz, I was like, I don't care if it's true, if it's a lie. We did not stick around to find out. We just, because clearly whatever it was, even had it not been evil, it didn't want us there. And it kind of seemed like it was trying to like get us. So we just, because like I said earlier, we don't, one thing I will say, the most frustrating experience I've ever had in the field of paranormal ever, we went to a guided ghost investigation. It was right before we started kind of doing it on our own. And there was a girl there who, we went to a home where the woman who actually owned the house, there were soldiers coming up her driveway. They had like some wounded and they were coming up her driveway to bring the wounded in and work on them. Because, back then they would just commandeer your house. They didn't have, like ambulance units or anything. So they were coming up her driveway and she went out to like wave her hands to say like, hey, we're going to let y'all come in. Everything's fine. But when she went out and started waving her hands, they took that as a threat, I guess, and she got shot on her porch. So she actually died very tragically. Like her kids were in the house. It was a really sad story. And we went to this place and there was a girl in the group who was like taking pictures. She was like, I'm going to get you on photo. It's my birthday. I came here for my birthday. You're going to let me see you. You're going to interact with me and blah, blah. That is probably the most irritating thing we've ever experienced because, like you said earlier, it's their turf, it's their area. And you're coming in, say, it's like putting a dog in a corner and poking it. And then when you get bit, you're shocked.
Mhm.
And she honestly got the crap scared out of her before the end of the night. She was taking pictures, and she snapped one picture and looked back up in the window and saw a face, and she got so scared she left before it was over. So,
Hey, you ask and you shall receive, I suppose.
yeah, that's what I said.
Does your group believe in witching hour? Does your investigations go all night?
Usually, yes, or as late as we can. So some places we've been, they have like a cutoff time, like you can come in from 7:30 to 12:30.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
we have stayed pretty much. I mean, at least try and stay till after 3 at a minimum if we're allowed to. Now the 3 o'clock thing, I don't know. I haven't ever. I guess we haven't done enough places that we're allowed to stay overnight for me to really know if the 3 o'clock thing is real or not. But I know that is like a big phenomenon in the paranormal community that at 3 o'clock things really like pick up. Um, the couple we have done though, I will say the activity seemed to pick up, but I can't really say for sure.
Okay. Good answer. That's cool.
Good. What else you got?
But with we're T&K fourth dimension paranormal. Uh, the whole thing about to us, it's like the energy lives in the fourth dimension. We're trying to bring it into our dimension, and so everybody has tricks and trades, and we're trying to make the non-believers believers. That's one of my goals, of course, and I believe on several occasions that her and we have experienced paranormal, big time, and it's hard to capture on film. Like one of the biggest things, like I always talked about goosebumps. You can't you can't prove goosebumps and why you got them though. But to me, it's like your body is telling you there's something going on. It's like when you're sick, your body's telling you that's why you're coughing and all that stuff, and you got a fever. Your body's telling you. And when we're on an investigation, I have this thing where my ghost radar goes off, and you get this feeling. It's not so much dread. It's not so much. There's been times like it felt like a weighted blanket got put on top of us, and you can feel different types of energy. We talked about we had this occur before where we entered a haunted location. It felt amazing in there. It felt like the place was electrified, and then as the night went on, it just went away. There was nothing. It felt like a McDonald's. Like there was no big deal. Like it just completely just left. And so I believe we have like inner monitors too. Has anything like that? What I just discussed with what I just said happened to you before?
Oh yeah, yeah, that happens everywhere we go. Everywhere we go,
Okay.
and like me and Liz talk about this all the time, how frustrating it is that you can't prove like what you're saying, like goosebumps or
Hmm.
feelings. It's like we've gone into I will say the first time in my life I ever felt that feeling of in a negative way of like you are not supposed to be here. My husband and I actually went to a national forest and we were out hiking, and all of a sudden we were probably like midway through the hike, and the ground, it was like the dirt itself shook. And so we both kind of turned around, and when we turned back forward, there was a large white, like it was the shape of like I know it sounds crazy, but it was the shape of a horse and like a human figure on top of it, but you couldn't see like the details of the human. But immediately we booked out of Dodge because like the feeling with that was like they were patrolling and we were in their area. So the feelings that you get, I will say, like paranormal investigators do rely very heavily on. We personally, I get feelings everywhere. We can go into one place, like you said, we went into a ballroom of a house one time. That room in particular felt like you walked into a birthday party. Like it felt good and like vibrant, but then you go upstairs and it would dip to this like sad, heavy, like you're talking about like a wet blanket almost, or like somebody puts like a wet rag over your face or something like this, just smothering almost kind of feeling. Um, but I get them everywhere. Sad, happy. I haven't had the anger as much. The only time I will say I've ever felt that, aside from the incident in the woods was more of an anger, a like frustration over the fact that they were dead, not a anger at me type of thing.
Mhm. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Go ahead.
I don't
I just like to compare paranormal. What state are you in right now? What
I live in
state?
Alabama.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we're up in Niagara Falls, New York. We kind of do West New York. We travel a little bit too. We got a couple more coming up, and we go in looking. It's the haunted locations that we like, where it's known haunted, and we're just going to go in there and we're going to see what we can do. You know, that's what thrills us. And let me ask this question: have you ever went to a non-haunted location and investigate it to see if you can bring something out? A
Yeah.
non-known haunted location.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And honestly, I had one time where it worked and I had one time where it didn't work. There's I don't know what they're called. It's like the bridges that they make for trains, but it's just for trains. It's like a train track that goes over a body of water.
Hmm.
There's one of those kind of local to where we are, and nobody's ever talked about it being haunted before, but the story behind it is so heavy and honestly sad that I just figured there had to be some type of just a residual at the minimum. So we went down there. We got like intelligent responses back to back to back, but we also went to a abandoned what was supposed an abandoned hospital and absolutely nothing. Like you said, it was like going to McDonald's. Like
Hmm.
there was the air was dead. There was no vibe. There was no
Hmm.
nothing. It was just
Hmm.
nothing.
Do you believe in like the moon phases? Like, say it was like a quarter moon, but you went in on a full moon and then it could have been off the hook. Do you believe in that? Like, you got to be at the right time at the right place at the right time.
I have to say, yeah, like I do think it plays a part in it because I also kind of believe in like even us as human beings, we draw certain levels of energy from the moon. Like you've heard about people in healthcare say like full moons, everybody goes crazy. I
Yeah,
worked in
yeah.
healthcare for 11 years and that is very true.
Hmm.
Like on the full moons, even us walking skin flesh humans, we go crazy.
It
So
sounds
I
like
can
I was
only
gonna say
imagine it would play a part somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. I just like to see how similar it is with other investigators, and do you? Okay, I got a good one for you. This one, do you feel like a weirdo?
oh
Honestly, yes, but in the best
All right.
way.
Okay,
Like
good. I'm glad.
I
People think
do, but also
I love asking that question.
I have
No,
no shame, you know?
you're our type of people, really. There's nothing bad about that at all. We just
Yeah.
choose to believe, uh, you know, there's energy on the outside, and we're just trying to bring it to other people now. That's it's nothing about being weird. It's just about being honest. Most
Yeah.
people, they're so stubborn, and they believe in ghosts, but they just don't want to admit it, and that's crazy.
Right.
I believe without a shadow of a doubt there's ghosts. I've seen
mm,
them, so yeah,
Right.
fortunate enough to see them. So, and I'd like to see them in the future too. So
Yeah.
yeah, we know they're
Yeah. I
there. It's
mean,
just a matter of.
there's times where I will say, like, depending on who you talk to, like, I've called locations to get permission before, and I had one lady rebuke me and hang the phone up. I that I know that it's a weird thing, but I look at it in it's a cool thing. Like the people
Mhm.
who judge me for it, you probably are just judging me because you're too scared to do it yourself. So
Mhm.
I don't really let it bother me. But honestly, I'm very proud of it. It's not something I would ever feel any like shame or be reluctant to tell people or anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you'd say I'm like a proud weirdo, is what that would be.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Very cool. Good answer. Good answer.
That's the best one yet, I think. Yeah.
What else you got, Tiff? She's been fun. She's
Yeah. Sure. It was fun. I
Trying to be
guess.
very honest.
Oh no, then we're the same way. It's the best way to be.
I always say be you, everybody else is taken. So
Yep.
Um, hmm. If you could go anywhere, what would be one place that you would investigate?
Ooh. Probably the tombs in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good one.
Yeah. Yeah. That would probably be if I could pick either there or I would go to Ireland. I'd want to go to Ireland and do probably like a really old like castle or medical facility or something like that.
All right,
That's
cool.
very cool. Very cool. You got any questions for us besides we got an answer for you or something that you're
So, what would be like you guys like best ghost story that y'all have?
ooh. Go ahead, Tiff.
Hinsdale's hands down always going to be our number one.
Yeah, we shared probably the same ghost story.
Yeah,
Her and I first event.
we so I've known Kevin for about 10 years. We worked together. Um, we got snowed in at work, and that's how we formed T&K, actually. So the first ever like official investigation from us was Hinsdale, and we call it our home base now because it's just so phenomenal. We've gone back 3 times. Um, but we were with a group with he was basically the host of the property, and then we had another couple, a married couple that was with us. And so we're all there, whatever. We had some things happen, but nothing like astronomically like, oh my God, that was so cool type of thing. Until right around 2:30-ish, we decided to go in the basement. And it was probably, Kevin says about 98% darkness. I'll say about the same, if not 99% darkness. Like I couldn't look and see Kevin, and I couldn't look across from me and see anybody else. So we were all sitting in a circle, and the host of the whole event, he was like, it seems there's something behind you. So me being me, I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, I think it's a bat. Well, that's when I freaked out because like I don't do bats at all. So I took my flashlight. The video is actually on our page on Facebook. And you can see me shine the flashlight up and down because I'm like, if there's a friggin' bat in here, like I'm out. Don't even care about the ghosts, just the bats. No. So there was nothing there. So we sit there for a little while longer, and something touched my hair. And you see Kevin kind of tuck his hair, and he's got long hair, into his hoodie. And honestly, like shortly after that, like we all saw a figure like start running around. It seemed like it was running around the basement.
Yeah.
And then like you hear, unfortunately we didn't catch it on camera, which is really, really aggravating. And we actively, every investigation we go on, have been trying to figure out why it didn't show up. But you can see our eyes, like all of us are watching it. We're like surveillance cameras. And the one girl, the other girl, she physically gags because she's so scared. And then we see another one and they cross each other. So they're going opposite directions, and they just kept crossing and crossing and crossing. And I eventually, like, we were all like, holy crap, like, what is going on? Like, this is what we're here for, but holy crap. And
Yeah.
um eventually I'm like, it's like they're playing duck duck goose, and I calmed down. Like, I had my initial like, oh shit moment, and then I like kind of was like, okay, we're okay. I
Yeah.
can do this. And everybody else was watching them too. And at one point there was a third figure that I saw that nobody else saw, but he was like in the middle where they were crossing. So that's probably our best ghost story as a team at this point.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It probably came
Yeah.
out. I think the other girl said it was like 22 times that the one emerged from the darkness. The shadow figure was to me a shape of a boy, a little boy. He was probably like uh, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 feet. That's it. But he moved really quickly. He had shoulders, he had head. You could kind of see a neck real quick, and it was just crazy. He was 100% blackness. He was
Mhm.
darker than the room. That's how we seen him. All five of us seen him at the same time. He merged from behind. He merged behind Tiffany. It seemed like he come around the room. That's where he formed, and he was running around us like in a duck duck goose fashion, like a little child would. And then the second one came out, like she said, very remarkable. I would pull my phone out. You can see I'm gonna do it again. This is the phone I had, and you see the light. When the light
Yeah.
was in the room, it went away. It wouldn't show itself because I was trying to record it with this phone. The video that we have is from their webcam. I purchased a webcam video and then I just edited it a little bit as far as with just bringing words to it. That's it. I never edited any kind of like ghosts in there or not, but you clearly see our eyes watching it. You see exactly the same second they come out. The swear words all came out. Everybody, you can see we were in the moment of, fight or flight mode, but we chose to stay. So it's one of those things when you go to a ghost hunt, you see a ghost, why run? you know,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was extremely exciting. It was scary as hell too at the same
Mhm.
time. It was. It kind of
Yeah.
it kind of put us. We didn't like basements for a couple months. Neither one of us did like
I will
basements.
say, yeah, that I think is such a common thing. Like me and Liz, like the first time we ever went to do like a full investigation, we were so excited and so ready. And I was like, I want to see something. I want to see a figure and I want somebody to come up and
Mhm.
talk to me and blah, blah. And we go and you can see like from what little footage we do have, one of us had a light on the entire night pretty much. There was like maybe a few minutes it would be total darkness, but
Mhm.
the the darker than dark, I think unless you have done this or something like this, that is something like I know exactly what you mean when you say like it was darker than the dark room.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
your eyes, I think though, our eyes will adjust to the darkness after so long. So like
Mhm.
once you've been sitting in there for a while, you will notice, even if you're in a pitch black room, something more pitch black than the pitch black. It's like
Mhm.
the darkest dark ever.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. But that was our ghost story. We kind of share the same one.
Yeah.
And we're trying to recreate that in the future too. So, we didn't run last time. So, um, well, I haven't run. She's ran before, but
I hate when you put it like that. He makes it seem like I'm a scaredy cat. I literally had to remove myself from the room because I couldn't breathe. That was the only reason I left.
the movie Forrest Gump, where he said, I felt like going for a run, that's what she did. She ran over to California, came back. She was scared.
I'm not scared. Just because I couldn't breathe.
No,
I
she was
will
a
say
trooper.
we have like a safe word, so we use Geronimo so that we know if at any point in an investigation something like that was to happen, or if you just have like a
Oh,
super
yeah.
bad feeling or if you get anxious, we just have a safe word. And anytime
Oh,
that
that's
word
good.
gets used, we'll take a break, go outside, kind of take a second. But I will say we've never had to use it.
Good.
yet.
That's good. We're going to use that now. Come to think about it, that's a very good idea. You know, poop hits the
Yeah,
fan.
definitely.
You need to let everybody know. You know.
And the
Not
thing
I
is
just
like
run.
me personally, I don't like in those situations if I am super uncomfortable, if I am scared, I don't like saying I'm scared out loud because it's
Mhm.
not that they can't feel the fear coming off of you, but I just think when you say it out loud, you're kind of opening yourself up to get like messed with or toyed with or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's why we came up with the safe word is so that we don't have to put ourselves more at risk, but we can still let each other know, like, hey, I need a break or I'm uncomfortable. But we've never had to use it, but we
No,
do
that's
have
good.
it.
I like that.
Something I tell people when they ask me about starting their own team, the first thing I say is make sure whoever goes with you, you trust them. These are dark
Hmm.
buildings. You're the only people in there. Don't go, gallivanting through a dark building with Billy you met at the sit go 15 minutes ago. It's probably not the best idea, but that and also have a safe word. That's like the second thing I tell everybody. Safe word.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
for
cool.
sure.
Mm. Very cool. Cool. Note that.
Well, mine's gonna be Forest. So then you can say run, Forest, run.
Yeah.
We actually we got a new technique, so that's really cool. So thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem. Any little nuggets we have, and like I said, we haven't done it very long, but we are super mindful and intentional about everything we do.
That's
Um,
cool.
you know, the biggest thing we want to do with this is not even get famous or whatever. It's
Mhm.
really just the experience for me to have or us to have. Like
Mhm.
we want to do it. The first
Yeah.
7 or 8 months we did this, we didn't video really anything. Um,
Mhm.
we never posted. We just started posting a couple months ago. Um, but I will say too, like what y'all were talking about earlier with the every time you would pull the phone out, they would disappear. We
Mhm.
have gone to some locations where we set the camera up, and before we start setting the camera up, everything's going off, it's going crazy, but then we set the camera up and it's dead stop. And there was one place that happened, and so I asked, like, why are you not doing anything now? And it literally said recording.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, like, I literally treat them and look at them like I can see them, they're regular human beings because
Mhm.
you might go in and they might be pissed off that you're recording them in the first place. They might not want to be recorded. They might think you know, I hate to say this, but like some of the paranormal teams I have seen, a few out of all of them, but some of them are very YouTube famous oriented. Like they'll go in and be like, well, slap me. If you're really in here, slap. I can tell you right now, I don't care where it is, how notoriously haunted it is. I would never walk into somewhere and tell some, if you're really in here, slap. Even if there's nothing in there, if it's anywhere in your vicinity, now it's coming right to you because you have just
Hmm.
opened yourself up for a literal physical attack. Those people to me are absolutely reckless, but hey, do your thing. I just would never do never.
Right.
Yeah. I hear you. It's cool.
Well, this was a lot of fun. You're awesome.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. This is
Yeah,
only
sure.
my second one, so I still get kind of nervous. I have anxiety, but I do try.
Oh, you
Yeah,
were
Yeah, you're the real deal. You're bubbly too. I like that.
thanks. I appreciate
we
that.
we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and you ever want to come on again, or if your other half of your team wants to come on with you next time, I mean, we'd be more than happy to have you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the rest when
Absolutely.
your team member is not sick there. Can you just repeat how we can get that footage of the conversation? That would be awesome to hear.
Yes, yes. So if
Please.
you go to our YouTube page, if you go to actually our Facebook page, which is just Aura and Echo Paranormal, our YouTube page is linked on there. Our username is the same.
Okay.
And you go on there, there's playlists. We've organized every investigation into its own thing. Go to the Gaines house and go to part one. I believe it's in part one. It was during one of the abandonment experiments that we did. We did two while we were there. But I think it was in the first one. But there was a lot of other things. If y'all ever did have the time to just sit and watch the Gaines house, it was the most active ever that we've
Okay.
ever done. Um,
That's very cool.
but the conversation specifically, that's in part one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to, you and the husband get a bowl of popcorn, you want to watch ours, I would love to get your comment on our Hinsdale episode. With you being experienced, it would be good if you could leave us a message, or it doesn't even have to be on the YouTube page itself, but on our T&K page, it's the Hinsdale house. If the video, I'd like to get your response of what you think about what occurred. You know,
Okay.
it's like 56 minutes. It kind of dies out after about when the one gentleman gets up, it kind of breaks the cycle. It broke the gear. To me, it's like all the gears were lined up and it kind of got broken. Like I said, it came out like 22 times. Usually, we all initially saw it, the phone come out trying to capture it, and then it would go away. But then as soon as the light went out, it came back out, which was crazy. And then more stuff was occurring, and we got some EVPs on there, and just she was touched, and yeah, I'd like to get your response on that. What you would think if you find a time in the next couple of days, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm always down to watch any paranormal
yeah, us
content
too.
of any kind.
Mhm.
Yeah, us too. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time to speaking with us. It's been a pleasure. It really has.
Yes,
I appreciate
absolutely.
It
it.
has. It has. Y'all have been great hosts. I appreciate y'all having me. I will reach out to her probably sometime in the next week or so, and we'll try and coordinate with y'all for her to be on too, because she's a character just like me. So if y'all like me,
Okay.
you'll like too.
I hear you.
So I'm looking forward to it.
One more question for you. You're in Alabama. You said, is it pop or soda?
Soda. Well,
Okay,
really,
gotcha.
if I'm being super honest with you, every kind of soda is a Coke. Like
Yep.
somebody will say, I'm gonna run to the gas station and get a Coke, and they'll come back with a Dr. Pepper. But
Yeah, yeah.
every soda, we just call it a Coke, really.
I gotcha. Thank you.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure,
Yes.
and we will be in contact again.
Yep. You have a really nice night now tonight. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all too. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, of course.
All right, I'll
See
talk
you.
to y'all later.
All
Okay.
right. Bye.
Bye. Happy Halloween.
Oh,
Happy Halloween.
Had to throw that in
all right. That was cool. She was awesome.
there. Pop, not soda.
Cool. No, that was fun. And I really hope they come back on. I'd like to see her other half of her as well.
Hmm.
Well, the other half of her team, I suppose. But
Yeah, I couldn't. I tried to not sway her or nothing, but she was pretty honest. She very similar to what we do.
yes.
And, she seemed pretty brave too. I was with for some reason being a guy, and I'm thinking like an all girls team that they're all going to just start screaming and running away all the time when they hear a bump in the night. But she was pretty tough chick, in a good way. In a good way.
He works for the woman. He's still saying that.
In a good way. But yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one.
Yes.
I really did.
Yes. Yes. Well, well, I'll kind of spoil it, I guess, a little bit. But keeping our fingers crossed for two really, really cool guests that are going to be on.
Coming.
Hopefully within the next week to 2 weeks, hopefully the absolute most. And I got kind of asked today to do, or if I was going to do a Halloween special with Kevin. So yeah, I think we're gonna move forward with that. I've got some ideas that I gotta kind of go over with Kevin, but I've got a location and some ideas in mind.
I see a video with dowsing rods. I see that coming.
Oh, that too. He's eager to get that experiment going. Now that we're on the same page with it this time, we're good now. But
Yep.
no, stay tuned for that. If you're listening to this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts, anything like that, what I'm talking about, I will obviously put the audio out there, but it's going to be on our YouTube page for the actual video part of it, obviously. So check that out for the Halloween special.
Awesome.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that's all I got for now.
I'm good.
All right.
Deuces.
Bye, everybody.